Rejection. Rejection is deadly. Is there a difference between abandonment and rejection? No, there's not. Not really. I mean, there is, but there's not. It's the action. Because rejection comes from words, it can also come from an action. Somebody's talking to you and you just simply walk away, that's a form of rejection. But it can kill. But so can overattendance. Sacrificing yourself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again just to make somebody else happy. Because don't they say that love is taking somebody else's happiness as a part of yourself? Or making somebody else's happiness more important than your own? That's not very self-loving now, is it? Maybe if we stop rejecting ourselves, maybe we will stop being around those that reject us. I mean, after all, 90% of the 16-year-olds are like, why does every guy that I try to date reject me? Baby love, it's not your fault. It's your parents' fault. It is. It really is. It, yeah, it is. It's your parents' fault. You're probably not going to fully understand that until you're like 32 years old and you look back and you be like, well, that relationship could have worked if my parents had stayed out of it, or I wouldn't have chosen that relationship if my parents hadn't done what they did. Because I have one. I have one specific relationship that I would have never, never, never in a million years gotten into if somebody hadn't said, I think this relationship's going to be really, really good for you, so yeah, you should get into it. And then this guy, I mean, mental health disorders do exist, but it's not something that you're like born, I mean, you're born with it. It's hard to explain. It's not your fault. Your mental health disorder is not your fault. It's your parents' fault. Like, mental health disorders don't exist to me. Like, they don't exist. Like, it's a cause from something, not an effect of something. It's a cause. Just like I don't believe that vaccines cause autism. I believe they cause an autism-like issue. Depending on the ingredient, depending on the human and how they react to the vaccine. Nothing, absolutely nothing, not the soap you use, not the essential oils you order from Young Livings, not the ibuprofen you take, not a single thing that grows, has been invented, that you put in your body, put on your body, put around your body, is free of side effects. That has a side effect. It makes my skin red when I scratch it. Nothing is free of side effects. We deserve to have the right to be able to explore our DNA, to find out what diet, what food, what medication would benefit us. And we deserve to have the right to medication that is not going to add to our illness. They say that the doctor gives you the medication because the benefits outweigh the risk. Well, when you're taking Pristiq, Remeron, Buspar, and let's say Effexor, lithium, whatever number of medications you're taking, and then let's say you're taking Prazosin, which is a PTSD medication, which it does. It helps with the nightmares. Like it does. It helps a lot with the anxiety. But it's also a blood pressure medication. And let's say you take a couple of Advil one day and all of a sudden you pass out and you're wondering what's wrong with you. You took an Advil. You dropped your blood pressure all the way down. And now you're at the hospital with an IV and nobody knows what's wrong with you, and you've completely forgotten you've taken the Advil because you had a headache earlier. And it was just what was in your purse. It's not your fault. But they're going to give you another diagnosis. Well, you might want to go get tested for diabetes or get this or get that. And now you've got this in your head that you might be sick again. When it was just as simple as a human mistake of taking the wrong medication. And that happens. That happens all the time. People die of accidental overdose because they're on too many medications. They die of a side effect from a medication that they didn't know was affecting them. People get serotonin syndrome from taking too many prescription medications of SSRI inhibitors, whatever it is. I have had more success at shutting down my suicidal ideation and ending it off of medication and following Teal Swan's teachings of shadow work and completion process and changing a belief system than I ever did by putting a pill in my mouth. It takes a lot more work, but let me tell you something. To be free of carrying around a bag of medications for the next 30 years of my life, it's been worth every single time I have chosen to rip myself apart.